JL Rock percent off collector, and we're here with another Transformers unboxing review. And today we're going to be looking at Trax. It is the KO Masterpiece from AliExpress. You know I love these. So far, so good. Will my luck continue by having no issues? Let's find out. Alright, so here we back with another KO that I bought basically before all the tariffs and stuff kicked in from AliExpress. I'll tell you a little bit more about like the best, I guess, practices when getting these. But this is a knockoff. But so far, I've gotten 5 of these. I've done, what, 3 or 4 unboxings that you can see on the channel. And I haven't had any problems yet. So you can see here on the box, I always recommend getting the box because it protects it. If you're an in-box collector, then I wouldn't really suggest AliExpress for the most part, because it's most likely going to come bent up, scratched up, or something. But to have the box for extra protection is worth it. Usually it's like $1, maybe $2 more on the price. So I totally recommend it. So let's open this bad boy up. Think there's anything else in there. All right, so this one is different because this is the first one that I got that came with a stand. And that's pretty cool because Trax has, I think, is the only Autobot that can fly in car mode. I think that's at least in G1. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. So we got that. And then in here, we have, actually, this is new too, having a little side, I think these are side mirrors. And then you have the instructions, but I always use EM Go or with Toys R Us. So you can see here, pretty cool looking glossy little card. It's got the little stats on it. I think that's pretty sweet. And then you have the instructions here. Good pictures on it and everything. Like, I've looked through these and I really say that it does give good instructions on doing transformation. But the cool thing is that even though these are knockoffs, if you look this up in YouTube, especially if you go to EM Go's page, for the most part, if you can find this exact type, and even though 99% of the time that channel is doing non-KOs, the transformation is exactly the same. And then here are the 2 little extra pieces. So all this little extra stuff is new just because I've gotten more of the smaller ones. I usually with AliExpress start out with lower price items and then work my way up. Some people just dive right in and buy a $100 item, but I admit, even though I talked to people about it and they said it was cool, I like to be extra cautious at first. Oh, and all right, so this is extra cool. It's funny too because I just got through watching this the other day, this episode, and I'll explain what I mean about that in a second. So this comes with the little figure. Actually, it's only one guy. Oh yeah, because this is the episode. Oh my gosh, now I forgot the name already. My memory's terrible. But this is the episode basically where Soundwave and I think Starscream is at a club in New York, I think it is, and they're using like a music club to like mind control people and stuff. So this is one of the people like on the street, and he's one of the good guys, and he's like a break dancer and a street dancer, and then him and his crew find out about what's going on. So that's kind of cool that this represents that. And Blaster is also in that episode. It's one of his, I think it's the first one-on-one fight that he had with Soundwave, and there's a point where he transforms and gets taken away, and I love Soundwave and Blaster, so the fact that it came with this little guy is great. I mean, you know, it's just interesting. I wonder, I guess if you undo that screw, it breaks into 2. It just surprised me having a screw on something this small, that it's actually 2 pieces. I mean, obviously, the paint job and all that is not all that great, but I don't really care. Like, that looks pretty cool, especially like when you look at it in scale. And then, of course, you have his weapon. And then, I think, is this the missile? I'm not 1000% sure. But let's look at the car itself. And like I said, with these, I've been pleased with it. I mean, I'm sure you can always find some flaws or something, especially when you're comparing it to masterpieces that cost a lot. But I mean, really, I haven't had much issues, like anything that I'm like, oh my God, I regret getting it, especially when you consider the price point. I mean, you can already see here that this looks good. I mean, like it's plastic, but it doesn't feel super cheap. Like there's definitely cheaper transformers and what they call deformation on AliExpress, and when you get it, the plastic feels really cheap. This doesn't, and so I have to say it's really cool. Like, and even though you see everything inside, I like the fact that they use clear glass. I don't know, I just think it's so much better. And like the gloss on the paint, everything looks sweet. The Autobot symbol, the symbol here for the Corvette, like everything's sweet. And then of course you have the extension for the fly mode. So that's cool. All right, and then the last piece is it's kind of underneath. I think you could do this just with your thumb. Like you see that plastic there, but I'm just gonna do with the tip of this to push that out on each side. So you have these here. I mean, it's really cool because not only Transformers, but for some reason, just the way with the wings and stuff, it makes me think of almost like the Super Pursuit mode from Knight Rider. So I mean, that's sweet. And then, like I said, you add in the little cannon at the end here. See the little tabs, and yeah, that's looking really sweet. All right, on to robot mode. All right, so as far as the transformation, once you get to the part where you've already put the back end, you folded it back, brought out the missiles and all that, and then you brought the, I guess, the midsection up, you'll see here you have like different tabs, and you can actually store the weapon here. So you can put the tab in here, and then oops, and then it tabs in, and then actually you can actually close that back if you're going back into vehicle mode, and then you can store it like that. You can also put blaster in there, but you have to choose one or the other. It's either going to be blaster or the gun. So I think it's the other way. Yeah, it looks, that's the only thing. I mean, it's supposed to sit like that, but it's not tabbing in all the way. But you can see that's basically how it's supposed to look. It's probably just me not pushing correctly on that tab, but it definitely can fit into that little tab. All right, let's continue with the robot. All right, and here we have him in his robot mode, and it really wasn't too difficult. Again, there's some spots where you tab things in. There were some parts like rotating here where the plastic seemed tight, but I have to say that pretty much everything, and I used the EMGO 316, which I'll put a link to the transformation I used. It's interesting because a lot of the stuff that he talked about, like it either was stiff or like up here where you tab in the chest, it doesn't feel super secure. If it's like the exact same thing here, like it goes in, but it's not super secure, and his is the legitimate version. So it's really interesting when you come across points in the transformation that someone mentions on the original, and the same thing happens in the KO. And I have to say, I really think it's cool. Like even just this, which I realized in the beginning I had it already out, but this flipping around, so when it's in vehicle mode, you hide the Autobot symbol. I mean, that's sweet. So we'll go over the articulation. I mean, pretty good. Like I like how you do with the shoulders and all that, because you saw already that when you're putting it in vehicle flight mode, you have that range of motion. So with this, you just have all this range. Like even with this in the back, like you can go pretty far back as far as the motion. And then the same thing with like, you could turn it here, you can bend it. And I love that clicking. You hear that? I love that sound. And then same thing with the hands. You got the articulated kind of hands there. You could turn that around. With the head, most of these, I mean, this has actually a better looking down than most. Usually most are much closer to the edge, to the bottom there. But here has a lot more room to look up and around like that. And I think part of that has to do that, you know, his head is inside underneath here. So when you flip it out, it's just automatically a little bit taller. And then you have these back here that you can play around with the height, the missiles, you know, you can play it around. You can bend these up here, so you can do a little bit even with that in motion. Of course, the wings, you can do more of a high bend, or you can do all the way flat out like that. Now, part of the transformation is turning the waist, so I mean, you have the full turnaround on that. And then with the legs, you can see how it's on the hinges there. So you can do full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. Shout out to Captain Kyle for that. That's cool. And as far as the range of motion, like, I mean, fully kick back like that, kick forward like that. So I mean, you can do a lot here. Then of course with the foot, I mean, part of the transformation is that, so you have a lot of movement on that as well. And then we have the gun, which you could just, oh no, the thumb doesn't actually, that is interesting because of that. I guess you have to go higher because, and that helps because I think, no, it doesn't have the tab here, but you don't need it. This actually fits better than some of the other ones as far as the grip. It feels like much more secure on the weapon there than with the other ones. So I have to say that I really like this robot mode. I think it looks sweet. I mean, from the missiles to the color styles and everything like that. The only reason it's having an issue with standing is because this is a little bouncy. I have to work on this, but it's not like it has any issues standing. This is my booth, like. So see, when I put it down, you get the full profile. So let me zoom in so you can see what that looks like. I just think it looks really good. And I mean, it's MasterPiece, right? Even KO or not, it's MasterPiece. So, you know, you expect that, but I am pleased. And like I said, at no point did I think that this was going to break or anything like that. When I was transforming it, even on the parts that felt tight or anything like that. So let me just quickly bring out another that was in the robot mode so you can see how it scales. So I mean, that's what's so cool about these, because I mean, for the price of one MasterPiece, I would get like 3 or 4 or 5 of these. So even if there was some issues, you know, I'm just happy to be able to get these. So overall, as I said, these are KOs on AliExpress. I usually select what they call choice, because those are usually the top rated sellers and stuff, and they have free shipping and they're much better with returns and all that. I would suggest using PayPal, that, you know, just extra protection. But I'll put a link to where I bought this from. When I bought it, it was I think it was just under $30, plus I had some coupons. Now I think it's closer to 40. I'll put up a price so that you guys can see. It's kind of interesting too, because with this, even though it's meant for the fly mode, I just realized that with that part here being there, you could actually use the stand for it as well. While it's, you could stand it up because the back is exposed. So that's kind of cool that when what's in robot mode, you can use the stand as well. I mean, you don't need it obviously because it stands fine on its own. But yeah, so as I said, definitely you could get it under 50, probably lower than that with coupons, especially if you've never bought on AliExpress anymore. So I'm happy with that. So far, I'm undefeated in these AliExpress KOs. I haven't had anything break, haven't had anything feel bad where I was like, oh my God, I wasted my money. So I really think it was a great addition to my collection. And I think that if you're interested in this, it'd be a great collection, a great addition to your collection. So I hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching. And remember the phrase that pays, no discount, no deal. Catch you next time. All right, Blaster, hit that beat.